money or doesn't get the following, it doesn't do well in the first couple of months, they can then go, well, you know, we wanted you in our LA studio with these producers, and we wanted you here, and you didn't do that, so that's why your album flopped.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's totally true. But in terms of actually needing to pay it back, they can't force you to pay that advance back. That's a write-off. Basically, it's a you know, if they give you $100,000, you don't recoup that, that's their loss. And they kind of make that bet with, you know, and a lot of, I don't know if they're doing it as much these days, but certainly, you know, around the time we were signed, that there was a lot of labels that were just kind of signing a bunch of artists and just hoping that one of them would work. And it would cover the losses of the rest. I think these days they're probably a little more frugal. But you're right. You're totally right. Yeah, that happens where they just...
I think, yes, they'll probably change a lot in the last couple of years as well, just because, like, the turnaround they get on that one win, 1 in 15 back in the 90s with the actual physical sales isn't fucking close to what they get now in a 1 in 10 win. Like, if the artist still doesn't tour for 6 months and still doesn't have a follow-up fucking album.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think that's why these days they're not signing people unless you've got like an audience, basically. So yeah, in light of your question, you know, probably, you know, I probably wouldn't sign, you know. Cool. But the good thing about them is they do have a bit of muscle. So if you want more exposure, or you know, they can tap into certain markets that you might not be able to tap into, like Korea, Japan, you know, Asia. There are those types of, you know, benefits.
They've got a black book that's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, they've got people in various territories that work at their subsidiary labels and whatnot.
And I'd say, like, there's a female rapper who I work with now, and she just turned down Interscope about 4 weeks ago. Right. She's turned down all the majors in the last, like, 3 years or so. Okay. For that reason, that she wants to do it all herself. Yeah. And I think, kind of, when we were talking about it, I was like, if you're willing to put into work and you think you've got a good fucking 10, 15-year career and you're about longevity and not just kind of pop in to pop out to get an advance and leave, then I think turning down big labels is the way to go, because you're the only one who's going to benefit from your hard work. Whereas I think if an artist kind of has, or can recognize in themselves that, fuck, I got really big quick off the net, I don't think I'm going to put out 5 fucking sick albums, touring sucks and I hate leaving my family, fuck, take the $200,000 advance and fucking leave, you know? So I think it depends what...
That's totally true. It depends on your circumstance. Yeah.
So,
and your
by
personality.
her going, she's like, I want to run a fucking label. I want to run these things. I know I've got these years and this time in it. So for her to then turn down Interscope, I'm like, this is fucking pretty smart.
And that worked for her. Does that work? She's got a following and whatnot?
Yeah. So she basically had a few videos that went viral. She got like about 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Turned down Interscope. She's been offered... She was the one who's fucking Lil Wayne's hit back. She's hit up fucking Drake on Instagram. She got offered the Lil Kim support for the Bad Boy reunion tour. But like she just kind of got fucked around along the way a lot. Like offered some stupid contracts. Had one dude fly her to New York when she was like 19 and won 50% of everything for her career. She's like, nah. Like fuck, to have the balls at 19 to be flown from where she comes from, to be able to put in these big studios in front of some big dudes and be like, nah, and walk away. But I think definitely, like, if you know, you go, fuck, dude, maybe in 10 years I don't want to be an artist and musician and fuck, I'll just get a job. Yeah, there's definitely times to take the label route. But I think anyone who's keen to go, fuck, I'm here for 10 years or more, this is my career, I've got longevity. Yeah. You don't need the
exactly.
You don't need them.
And you just got to, it is a lot more work. Definitely is a lot more work.
But the payouts are bigger. And totally. 15 years down the track.
Yeah, you know? Totally. Yeah. And if you've got the right... You'll, again, going back to network, what Spike was talking about, it really does. You know, you have to have the right publicists, you have to have the team behind you, sort of pushing that. I probably wouldn't suggest, you know, having your own label without, you know, seriously, you know, setting up those relationships, or setting up that, you know, that foundation with, you know, publicists. I think really publicists is your main thing, marketing, someone who's going to handle that sort of side of things, hitting up the blogs, you know, and doing all of that. And then, and also someone who's going to be out there, you know, you should really get a manager if you can. But, you know, it just depends, you know, it's all circumstantial at the end of the day. And you're right. So, like, for some people, they might just want that big money. They might need the money straight away. And if you need the money straight away, then, you know, a label deal can be pretty enticing.
Even publishing deals are fucking pretty sick these days.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
get your track on an ad for fucking
yeah.
streets, and you'll make more than most singles in Australia.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yep. Yeah. Publishing is certainly more lucrative. You know, even and I've certainly experienced that myself. That publishing deals is again, that's one thing I would sign, publishing. Yeah, okay. And to this very day, I signed a new deal last year. And I've been through 3 publishers already. And that's simply because my contracts have run out. So I signed a new deal last year with a really cool independent publisher called Native Tongue. Again, I probably didn't need to. I'm still getting things from my other. I was with Cobalt prior to that, and they were good. All of them have successful artists on their roster, so you just kind of you can trust them. It's about the people behind. I really like these guys at Native Tongue that are my the guy that runs it and my A&R guy. So I chose them as my publishers. I had a couple deals. I had one from Universal that I knocked back. It was actually more money than the Native Tongue one, but I just liked the people at Native Tongue. I really trust them, and I had friends who were also with them, who we also know together, that have had really good experience with them. So, but yeah, totally sign a publishing deal. I definitely would recommend. And you don't even have to be an artist to sign a publishing deal. You can just be a songwriter, like write songs for other people. That's basically it. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, I've got one.
Yeah.
With you starting your own label or doing that whole scenario, how much would it have cost you now in this day and age to put an album out and do it to a level where you can get some traction or marketability?
Well, there's the production costs, So because we were self-produced, we cut that cost, which is significant. There were mixing costs, so we did get it professionally mixed. All records we got we had and someone else mixed them. You don't have to, but I would certainly recommend it just to get that extra perspective. So that that ranged, depending on who we got, that ranged from those costs can add up, especially if you're getting. I mean, we splurged a bit on the second record. We got this guy called Dave Fridman who did a lot of the MGMT, Tame Impala records.
Okay.
He, we had to fly over to Buffalo to work with him, and it was, if I remember correctly, it was about $40,000 US. So it wasn't cheap, but at the time we had the money, so it was fine. Yeah. You don't have to do that, but that's one. That's a cost. But other than that, it's mainly marketing.
How did you go with your marketing? I know you said you had a publicist.
Yeah. So I can't remember what her rates were, but she had worked at Sony. She was now freelance.
Okay.
She was working with a few other bands that were doing quite well at the time. We didn't use her on the third record. We actually started off with this woman called Claire Collins, who was she was kind of like the premier like Australian publicist. Okay. But we didn't feel like we got premium results with her. Yep. I mean, she handled Gottyear, who else? Flume, like Chet Faker, all those guys. Yep. So supposedly really good, but we didn't feel like
the results.
Not really. And there was it was anyway, but she wasn't cheap either. I think she was like $3,000 a month or something.
Okay. And for that, what did she actually do? Like
that's a good question. That's a good question.
I've just started. I've got an EP, and I'd like to put money into marketing and market it and just see what people think. But you hear from so many different people. Oh, put marketing to this. I'm like, but what are you doing? Oh, well, I know some people who know.
And that's the thing. It's so hard to quantify exactly what these people are doing. Yeah, it's kind of like SEO. If anyone's heard of SEO, you don't know what they're doing really. Yeah. They're trying to get your ranking up on Google, and
They should be like, I've worked with some dudes who range from that going, what the fuck do you do? And you literally get it back and you're like, this campaign was not like, you sat and smoked fucking bongs in your porch for 3 months.
Yeah.
And probably, I don't even know if you listened to the record.
Exactly.
And then other people, like, so how, like, okay, if you do it a couple of times, you'll kind of learn what you should be picking up on and what to look for early.
Yep.
But like usually what it'll start from organising like a press release. So if you give them your fucking record or your EP, they can go through, give it a real fucking nice write-up, like format it, have a nice picture of you, your press release, some fucking dope info that might, you know, attract a bit of attention that's uniquely about you or that record. If they're really good, they'll fucking do about 3 or 4 different releases and then send them out so that each different one can kind of do a different interview or a different video on a different perspective of that EP. Otherwise, they'll just do like one. Then it's pretty much trying to push to get fucking radio play. They should give you a full list of every radio station they've serviced and where they've got radio played from, whether you see that list at the end of the campaign.
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
So it depends who
That'll
you
be
go
the next
down.
question.
I actually do run a PR agency as well, if you want to fucking talk after this.
Oh, right, okay, I shouldn't be.
Already collaborating.
So like pretty much their job is to put your fucking music in front and in the ears of everyone who it needs to be for them to make a decision whether they like it or not. And then if they're fucking good, they can write you up the press release, which spins you in the very good light. They'll know what these guys look for. So like sending the same fucking interview to fucking Complex, Purple Sneakers, and everyone else means if they all run this interview, like
it'll be the same story.
It'll be the same fucking bullshit. So they should know then, okay, cool, we'll send out this fucking press release in this round to hit these guys. We'll see who picks it up, who got traction. All right, maybe they need a little more fucking heartfelt or something more emotional because these guys, that's what they're about. So then they'll fucking go back and see, you know, during the writing of this EP, what's fucking something they can write a unique interview about to service to this fucking person.
Yeah, we use like over the years we've used various ones. Some were better than others. Some we used it someone in LA. You know, she was pretty good at like getting some overseas blogs happening. She couldn't help with the radio thing.
Okay.
You have to get a radio plug. You don't have to. I mean, one publicist, did walk into Triple J with our material and
just said, hey.
We present it. You know.
There's a listening every. I think it's last I checked it was fucking Tuesday morning.
Every Tuesday, I can't remember because I don't care anymore.
So it's called a radio plugger, the actual guy.
So
he has a meeting every Tuesday morning where fucking the radio plugs will come. They'll either send it in through the back end on their system, or they bring in an actual physical. Sit down, go. I've got this artist this week. He's this sort of vibe. And again, they should plan that meeting around what's getting played at Triple J, so that your shit isn't fucking. If they're playing a whole heap of hip hop and someone's just dropped a mad hip hop trap and a track and everyone's looking in the hip hop scene, and you walk in with this fucking kind of indie ambient thing, he'd be like, nah, and then you've blown fucking that campaign because he's walked in the meeting at the wrong time. When you're
there's a lot of timing.
Really,
a lot of timing involved as well. But you should definitely. I mean, that's something that streaming pluggers as well. People who have relationships with Spotify, Apple Music. A lot of people, and that's one thing that a major label is good for. They've got that.
Yeah, they've already got
They've got the in. They can get you on New Music Friday straight away. No,
that's right. You can even fucking like if you get offered to sign or something with big labels and you kind of know everything about the game. Like, fuck, dude, you can play, these days, you can play the labels for just as much as they're going to fucking take you for.
Yeah,
like, at the end of the day, Interscope isn't a band. They fucking haven't released a song. They've got a pretty big fucking building. Like, they make money. They got to make it off the artist.
Yeah.
Like, if you know the whole system, you can fucking reach out to just as many people on fucking Instagram and put your shit in front of them. Like, you can build those same ones. But at the same time, fuck, it's got such good credibility coming from fucking Jimmy Iovine at Interscope.
Oh, that's very impressive.
Yeah, so there are those avenues, but they're the main. Yeah. They're the main things you need to set up with a label, and then obviously a distributor.
Yeah.
So whether that's TuneCore, whether that's AWOL's another one. There's a few. Zelon, I think have a different pay structure. Is it Ditto?
Don't know.
I've heard of someone called Ditto. Yeah. Which it has mixed reviews though. A lot of people,
Okay.
We used TuneCore just because at the time it was probably the advice our manager gave us at the time.
Is that your distributor? Sorry.
Yeah, that's So they handle basically putting it on Spotify, all the various channels.
Putting it on iTunes, putting it all on.
Yeah.
Is there someone from TuneCore who actually like a case manager type thing, or is it just?
It's funny you asked that because that's one thing that TuneCore are absolutely terrible at.
Right. Yeah.
It's all email, and there are case managers and stuff, but it's not. You can't just pick up the phone and go, what's going on.
With Zellon, and they've got like a smaller distribution thing, Noise Hive.
Yeah.
Which I'm with. Who are really good with
it. Yeah,
I call them
I
up
heard
and
that.
they know who you are.
Yeah.
They bring up your phone.
Yeah.
They're really good with
yeah. I would certainly.
That's cool.
I've heard really great things about Zellon.
Yeah, I don't know if you know about MGM as well. I don't know how they're like.
MGM are independent. They're like an independent distributor. They. I don't know what they're like these days, but certainly 10 years ago they were like the independent.
I think they still are kind of the independent.
Right. But they kind of were good at physical. I don't know how they are these days with digital. So, but Zellon, I hear great things about them.
Good,
So, but TuneCore's the easiest. You know, if you just want to put it out there, and I mean, we still have everything through TuneCore, and we just haven't changed just because. I think we're lazy.
Man, I haven't logged in there for months, so it's good you just fucking leave it and you log in every now and then, like, oh.
Yeah, but we like, I mean, it's still, for me, it's still income. Like, every month, even though we're not together anymore, it's been a couple of years, I'm still every month getting a fairly decent pay from TuneCore.
Okay. Do they pitch to, like, iTunes featured page and stuff like that?
You can choose.
I don't know what you pay more. Do they do it though? Is it through them?
Fuck, last time I've gone through them, it was.
Yeah, right.
But that's what I was a while ago. I'm not sure.
I didn't know they offered that service.
I think it was only on releases, like on your release day or release month. I don't know if you could just ramp up a campaign like when shit's already out.
Is this the iTunes homepage? Did you say
the featured page?
The featured page. Really?
Oh, I don't know how extreme it was, but I know you could pay extra and they'd fucking...
They'd try.
But
there's people that's really competitive.
I doubt if they get your front page, but again, they'd give you a report saying they pitched it to iTunes.
And it failed. Rejected.
I reckon every time it would get rejected. There's no way, all those feature pages, like, that goes through, that is one thing that goes through labels. Unless you're big enough and have the following, they're like, you're a hot artist.
If you cause a big enough stir on the internet, no one has a fucking option but to
exactly.
Are they the same as APRA and AMCOS? Is that the same?
No. They're separate to APRA. Okay. So APRA just handles the songwriting distribution. Okay. So your percentage as a songwriter of the tracks. Okay. So. TuneCore deals mainly with, I guess, the copyright of the master.
I see. Okay.
So any sort of streaming or sales, a portion of that goes to TuneCore. Yeah. The other portion goes to your publisher or APRA. Yeah. Or both. Depending on how you've structured it.
Okay, cool.
But even just back with that labels thing, like we had an EP out fucking years ago on Obese, and then when they. Yeah, went under. Even though we got a notice saying they were out, like to all the artists, like we're going under. Mm-hmm. Fucking their shop and everything still runs. I think to this day you could probably log on.
And
I know
still
cunts have fucking bought shit. I haven't got a check from them in fucking years.
Who's collecting it, or do you not know? They are.
Yeah. Well, if you buy it on iTunes, the cash goes to them.
Is the company
to them.
Bankrupt?
I don't know. Like that just shows how dodgy. Even Obese, like in the hip hop, they were probably the biggest for fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
Like they were Hoods, Bliss and Esso, fucking Cursor. And they'll fuck you if they can.
That's weird.
The joys.
Yeah.
So what about? Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. And then another one we put out after that, which was just ourselves on TuneCore, like that. Fucking, I could log on at any point now. It'll tell me how many fucking records it sold, what fucking my dollar amount, what when my next fee's coming out, so it'll take that out, when it'll get mailed out, everything like that.
Oh, that's cool. Good to know.
Yeah.
Go on to me.
Yeah, get the sound right.
Yeah.
That was one thing with Gypsy the Cat at the time where, like, you kind of, I don't know, it was kind of, I shouldn't say it like it's really easy, but at the time it was, I kind of knew that it was good enough to get released. Mm-hmm. What I used to do is I'd put it up and I'd be just fucking honest. If it was shit, it was shit. But if I'd put it up against a track that I really liked or something like that, and I would make an honest comparison. And if it didn't match up to that track, whether it was the mix, whether it was the inherent song, whether it was production, I would just be like, this is not good enough. So once you're really comfortable that your shit is just as good as the shit that's getting played and is doing well, then that's probably the point where you can be like, well, okay, what's the next move? Then the next move is these days it's so, I don't know, like it's hard to, yeah.
Even while you're doing that though, just same thing like that. Fucking hit up people on Instagram, find people who are very good at what you would call similar to your sound. Like start fucking talking to them on Instagram. Fuck, go to their gigs. Like if you're seen at shows, fucking Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. In 3 months, people are going to know who the fuck you are. They'll recognize your face. Then all of a sudden, when you drop a track in 2 years, it's like, fuck, dude. I remember I've spoken with that fucking girl before. I've seen you at these shows. It's not just, hey guys, like, I'm in. It's like, cool, you're part of the fucking community. You know, all it is just a fucking living, breathing ecosystem, man, that everyone's in. So if you're just present in it, then you'll develop your sound because you'll be hanging around people who are fucking, you know, you would consider done what you want to do. And then you'll just start opening doors naturally because you're
I think targeting the right, whatever your scene is, you know, I guess, I don't know what style of music you do, but like, you know, you would probably look at other similar artists within that style of music that you do and see what they've done, possibly replicate or try and replicate, you know.
So again, the missing gaps within myself, like obviously I can't play all instruments and things like that, is like just trying to reach out to people that do.
Yeah, totally. Totally reaching out, you know, finding good, you know, good musicians. I mean, most these days, like, you know, you can most of what you can do in your recording is basically you and the producer. But sometimes you will need, like, I'm still hiring if I need, you know, someone who's awesome at like drums, you know, or just to layer my samples. Like I'll hire, you know, my friend who's a really great drummer, or even like someone who's really sick guitarist. I'm really basic at guitar. If I need someone to really kind of do some, you know, awesome things, I'll just reach out to my network of people, you know. When it comes to like musicians, is that what you're asking? Like,
yeah.
I got a question. How hard is it to sit there after you've spent ridiculous amounts of hours writing a song, producing revisions, going back and forth, and then getting a reference track and listening to it and actually being honest with yourself and say, shit.
How hard is that?
How hard is that? Like,
I find it really easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go straight away. The hard part is kind of fully coming to grips with the ramifications of it being shit.
Sometimes it doesn't happen straight away though. Like I'll go away. I won't listen to the song for a while, and I'll come back and I'll be like, oh, this just isn't good enough. But then there's been times where I've come back, and I've been pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Like I should do something with this. But
were you always like that?
No. I think early days I wasn't honest with myself. I think when I first was producing, especially doing the EDM stuff that I started off doing, like I thought it was really good at the time, but I listened back to it now and it was just nowhere. It's not up to par. It was not up to par at all.
Why do you think?
And really embarrassing.
Why do you think in the initial stages when you started it was so hard to be honest with yourself?
I just think that at that time I hadn't tuned my ears to listen to certain things. You know, at the time I don't think
You hadn't have enough.
I think you also I think you kind of like develop your instinct as you listen to more music. I found that when I listen to more, you know, really different, diverse genres, like I would learn more, even if the genre was completely unrelated to my style.
What about music? We're talking a lot about artistry, so I have an Easter egg in my mouth. What about like music production? Like when you first started, how did you get good? Like how did you know what was shit? How did you
that was
experiment?
Years. Yeah. So I met another good friend of ours who I would consider he was the guy that taught me how to produce, and he sort of brought me in at the beginning when I think it was 19. I met him at a nightclub too, actually. He was DJing, and somehow he knew that that I was an accomplished pianist, and I don't know how. And he asked me to come in one day to his studio at the time, and lay key parts for him because he couldn't do it. So I went in, and I played some keys and did that, and then he got me in again, and then after a while we started sort of making tracks together. And then one day, like, and I would just sit in the back, just watch him do it the whole time. And I wasn't really paying much attention. I actually had no aspiration of being a producer at that time. Like, it all, I just kind of fell into it. One day he decided, or he had to go to a doctor's appointment or something. We were working on a track, and he's like, "Oh, you know, you jump in the seat and, you know, give it a go." Oh, you know, basically, and he gave me like a quick 5-minute, like, this is how you do everything. And I was completely stuck that whole time. Like, I didn't retain any of the information. But, like, I kind of started, you know, fucking around, seeing what I could do. And then, you know, when he came back, he started going through things. And then, you know, basically from then on, he still took the driver's seat most of the time. But, you know, there would be times, again, like, where he'd, you know, say, oh, you know, or I'd just know what he's doing wrong. And I'd be like, I'd have no patience for it. So I'd get up there and just do it. And then, you know, and then eventually he that was Cubase at the time. He taught me Cubase. So,
was it a lot of experimenting and just, like, how do you know what plugins did?
I just followed the plugins that he used, you know, and then he showed me where they were, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, that does that, that does that. That's where these sounds are. And then...
And what about when you got onto your album and you're kind of exploring sounds? And
stuff that was like 2 years later, yeah.
What platform did you... What software did you use?
So he taught me on Cubase, and then Logic, at the time, Logic 6, I think, came out. And
not currently what you use?
Right now I use Ableton and Logic. I use both, yeah. I don't have a preference. Actually, you know what, I lie. I do prefer Ableton to arrange or do anything sort of creative. I feel like there's more creative versatility with Ableton. But having said that, I prefer the mixing in Logic. Yeah, like, I just think you get a better mix. And there's things that I prefer doing in Logic, like recording vocals. Like, I don't know if Spike's shown you guys, but, like, you know, you can tune the vocal quite much easier in Logic than in Ableton.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Yeah, it's very
so...
But on the flip side, another mate of ours would say that the mix in Ableton is better.
Yeah, that's...
Shippy prefers a mix in Ableton.
Okay. He's talking about Pro Tools a lot. Well,
now he's saying Pro Tools. Look, I think this topic, like, I remember searching on YouTube, like, which DAW is better? What is the best synth?
What's a DAW? Yeah.
I think it always, there's no such
thing.
Like,
Pt2 uses Fruity Loops.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they each have their sound? I reckon each program has their own, like, just in the algorithm when they break down the ones and zeros to put it out. I reckon you can tell.
You can.
What software you use in different genres will lean.
Yeah, and if you had to put sort of words against what's one sound, like, I think Ableton's sort of sounds a little bit more plasticky than Logic.
A lot of people swear by Logic when it comes to, like, quality of sound. I hear that a lot.
Yeah, I would say that Logic's better. Yeah, I'd say Logic. I mean, for me personally, I'll do all the creatives these days. I'll do all the creative stuff in Ableton, bounce it all out, bounce all the stems out, put them into Logic, and just mix it all and refine it.
Machine out.
Well, I use Machine.
Yeah, you use Machine. I don't use Machine. Yeah, it's more of a hip hop thing. Yeah,
that is so powerful, man.
Yeah,
he's fucked.
Yeah, I know it's really it's definitely.
And again, that's just another that's basically its own DAW.
Yes, it's correct.
Yeah,
like, you should be able to go basically start to finish of a track just on the studio
on
without
machine.
touching the keyboard or fucking mouse.
Yep. Whatever's comfortable, whatever's comfortable.
If it sounds good, it's good.
If that's exactly right. If it sounds good, doesn't matter. I think Daft Punk still use like Logic 3 or something like that. Stupid old. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Those guys are fucking animals.
You mentioned heaps before, like manager, A&R, publicist, all those people. Like, I'm at the stage where eventually I'd need that team behind me. How did you go about it? Did you have to source
lawyer first?
Lawyer as well?
Yeah. So lawyer's kind of good. Lawyer is lawyer kind of got. I mean, besides the guy from EMI that hit us up on social media, like, if you don't get people coming to you on social media, lawyer's probably your first bet. Yeah. If you can get like someone at Media Arts Lawyers, someone at Simpsons, or someone in Brett Oaten's office, and just, you know, a lot of the time they kind of act as an agent for you in a way.
They're all music lawyers.
Yeah, but they, you know, they're not cheap. You know, so.
They're lawyers. They're definitely not cheap.
Yeah.
I think nothing in music is cheap. I'm starting to realize.
Not for quality anyway. Yeah.
I think you'll also, as probably everyone did, after you waste all your fucking money at the start, you'll come back and do shit again. You'll be like, okay, this is how I save money here, and this is the fucking homemade job, and this is the good one.
And everyone goes through, like, I totally skipped the part where I had a manager with my other friend who mentored, I guess my first production partner. We had a manager who was really, like, had a name in the industry, done all these, like, pop records for everyone at the time, and probably the dodgiest guy in the industry, you know, really, really dodgy, you know, and now he's, like, you know, trying to raise millions for some platform that, like, sources your music or puts your music onto television commercials and stuff. Like, he's one of those serial entrepreneurs. But I think a lot of people go through bad management experience, but if you can kind of cut through the crap if you have the lawyer, if you get someone of those firms, they're all, like, those lawyers know what they're on about.
Also, trust your gut. Like, I had a producer come in who was working out of my studios, who, as soon as fucking meeting him, saying with anyone out there, would be able to tell you, we go, dude, like, this dude, there's something about him. You're like, I don't want to fuck with him. There's something about this fucking dude. He was on Young Money, Cash Money, like a big fucking producer, like multi-platinum. At the time when my studios were starting out, we were like, fuck, this looks good for the studios. Sure enough, shit fucking spirals downhill. Spike's heard about some of the fucking mayhem. And it's like, fuck,
just
at the
dodgy.
Time, back yourself
Dodgy.
in. Although you might think I'm fucking cheating the system by, you know, going with someone
I
big
feel
like
like
this.
it happens more so in the hip-hop world. Like,
because they're all fucking scumbags.
There's a lot of, because they're all hustlers.
Except
you know, because they're all hustlers, and they're, you know, that's, you know, their thing.
Streets is a big fucking influence in it.
And so you probably get yourself more into those situations, you know. But having said that, you still, like, it doesn't mean that they're not in the other genres of music.
Definitely. But your intuition will get you fucking pretty far in life, especially through a creative field. The more you go through, the more you'll pick up, and it'll fine tune itself. And when fucking things start to spike up,
totally.
Pun intended.
But you need to have good. You need to have good intuition too.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have good intuition,
intuition tells you to fuck with dudes, and you're just getting scammed left, right, and center. Get a buddy involved or something.
Yeah. But I feel like those stories are less and less these days. I don't know if I'm.
Hopefully, I think the internet's doing a great thing to expose that, because you can't these days. You can't just fucking rip someone off and fuck off. It's like, dude, you've got to.
Yeah.
You're traceable.
Totally. So back to your question. Yeah, hit up a lawyer first, and they'll like if they you kind of need to impress them first, because if they'll do the list, will listen to your music and be like, I think he might do something. Let's hook him. Let's send it to John Watson. Let's send it to various managers.
Well, they'll encourage you to get back in touch at a later date.
Yeah. Or that too.
Yeah.
Which usually means get your shit better.
I mean, you're not a complete write-off, and I don't want to ever hear from you again.
But having said that, if someone rejects, try another lawyer. Yeah. You know?
And even stay in touch, man. I used to fucking email everyone. Like, I'd just go on literally on Facebook. Every artist in the about section, they'd usually give you their manager or fucking someone's email. I'd have a list of that. Like, every week I would drop these fucking huge cunts emails, be like, hey man, this is what I'm up to this week, you know, thanks. Get no reply. Do that for years. But
they have him on the ban list in their books.
Like, sure enough, when something comes around, they'd already known about you, they already know about your name, you know, they already fucking see you. And then in addition to that, lawyers, I think design people are fucking very good. There's like a few, I know in hip hop there's one person who does all the big fucking album covers and press shots and everything like that. Like, you know, if you just go, oh man, do some press shots with that person to get an album designed by so-and-so, and they listen to it and they're like, fuck, this is good, you know, they're usually a fucking text or a fucking phone call away from the dudes you need to hear it. So I'm like, that lawyers thing is great, just finding a different fucking avenue in.
Yeah.
Cool. Guys, I want to start to sum it up. If you guys can thank Lionel for giving his words of wisdom. Make you feel nice and awkward, bro. Again, these Squad Sundays, I want them to be really chilled. You know, like, I struggle when people talk too much, but I hope that what has been said has been valuable for you guys today, whether you're an artist, music producer, or whatever. I'm trying to keep these things free. I'm trying to keep them just with a cool crew of people, and I'd be more than happy to see you guys at the next one. It'll be the same kind of setup. I guess the intentions are like, you know, that first get here at 6, kind of start warming up 6:30, 6:45. It's really a chance for you guys to just get to know each other and chat. And some of you utilize that. Some of you maybe couldn't be fucked, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not forcing you to, but it's a really good way for you guys to find out what you're all doing, because all of you can help each other so much. Some of you have tapped into areas that you're wanting to know about, and vice versa. Some of you as music producers are great at mixing but struggle with creativity. Some of you are great fucking musicians but don't have the mixing tools. Some of you are artists who've accomplished and written many songs. Some of you have written none. You know what I mean? Like, you're all in different stages in your career, and this is a golden opportunity that I'm creating this platform purely for you guys to fucking come here and network. And you don't have to. You can just sit here and have a drink and eat some pizza, and that's cool, because that's probably what I would have done back in the day as well. But once you get to know each other, it might feel a little bit more comfortable, and you can actually share stories and speak to each other about, like, well, I'm really fucking struggling with this, and how do you do this? And, you know, and this guy might have all this experience in this thing, and, you know, she might have experience in all of this, and he might be a kick-ass fucking guitarist, and you use him for your next thing. Like,
should have said it at the start. I was waiting for it to start.
Well, I did, kind of. You came a bit late, mate. Okay. So I guess the idea is, like, if you're finding out what all of you do, it could be one big collab session, and you could all utilize each other's skills and help yourselves kind of go up and up. This isn't an industry where it's very easy to do things by yourself, and the majority of people that kind of get there have used lots of connections and networking, even if it's Gypsy and the Cat and collaborating with another person. I almost think that's much easier than just doing it by yourself. It's pretty rare and it's pretty difficult. I've sat in my studio for 6 years by myself pretty much. And, you know, working with other people and artists has just been fucking awesome, because I choose which artists I want to work with, and I get to create, and that's all I really want to do. That makes me a happy man. So thanks for coming to this Squad Sundays. It's going to be the same thing, first Sunday of next month. You're obviously all invited. Now, basically, we're just going to put on some tunes. You're welcome to scoot and go if you want. You're welcome to chill and have another drink and some pizza. I don't know if Lionel's going to stick around for maybe a few minutes if you want to ask him a few more.
Wants to ask me.
Yeah, a few more questions in private.
Are you signed to a label at the moment, production-wise?
Not for production, no. I work with a whole bunch.
I'll let you guys talk about that in a second, okay? So that's it, guys. Thank you for coming. Before you go, just say hi and bye. If you haven't got into the WhatsApp group, or I haven't given you a number, just hit me up. I think I need to add... Do you have WhatsApp?
No.
You've got to download it. You've got to download it. Yeah, and the group is basically just for us to network. If you're looking for a singer, if you're looking for a rapper, if you're looking for a music producer, if you just want to share something with one of the crew, then you're more than welcome. Do you want to share your song?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah. So I had like a couple of people going to share their song. This is like Steve's first track.
Ever, yeah.
First track ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Steve's a talented multi-instrumentalist. He plays a bit of this, a bit of that. He's been doing some lessons, trying to get into mixing and learning how to do that. He's in the infant stages, but it's a really fucking great effort. For me, the hardest thing was actually completing a track, and I encourage everyone who's with me, just fucking finish it. Doesn't matter if it's a beat, doesn't matter if it's a track, just finish it and put it out there. When we first start producing in music, and I don't know if Lionel remembers it, but you get so pedantic about everything being fucking perfect. I remember sending tracks back and forth to Lionel when I first started, being like, how's this, bro? Is it right? Is it right? Is it right? I was looking for him to say it's fucking right. And he kept,
validation. Yeah,
I was looking for validation. And I think you're never going to be happy. When you first start, you have to embrace it. It's just going to be what it is, you know?
But, like, going back to that, just remember the triple Fs, like friends, family, and fools. Like, if you're playing your music to your family and friends, you're probably not going to get the most honest answer.
It's true.
And also, even if it isn't honest, like, fuck, your family, my family don't listen to hip-hop. They've never seen me fucking play. Like, if I show my old man hip-hop, like, what the fuck are you even doing?
Alright, so this is, I'll just mute Logic so we don't blow our ears. This is Steve's track. What's it called? Naked.
not it. Oh, how embarrassing. Probably went out.
You weren't meant to hear that. How embarrassing. Should I turn the metronome off? What do you reckon? Okay, here we go. My bad. Rookie mistake.
Did you do this one? Did you do anything of it? You produced everything?
There's no one else I want but you. It's late and I'm faded. I don't think I can take it.
Is this the latest one?
Pick up the.
My bad.
Do you record them?
Yeah, I did. So I recorded the vocals and did all the instruments and stuff and the arrangement.
Yep.
And then did as much of the production as possible.
Yep.
Then I sent it off to. Then I met Spike only like probably a month ago.
Sweet.
Then I sent it off to him and he did the mixing and
Cool.
back and forth a bit. And then
Who was the singer?
myself.
Oh, you sung?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So there's a bit of rapping in this one, and then singing as well. So I tried to do a bit of both.
What's the date?
What did you make it on? What production?
On Logic. So that was.
Was it revision 3, bro? Final revision 3?
Yes, I think so.
Let's try that one.
That's what I was going to say to you before, sorry. You had the question about when you're first starting off, branching out to different musicians and everything like that. Are you just kind of starting off in kind of music journey?
Just starting off walking out of my bedroom door.
Sick.
With it.
Awesome.
Yeah, like literally just.
Rock
like,
and roll.
Yeah.
Well, you, something I still
Sending
kind
little
of,
voice memos to
fucking
people
I still
like
do that,
of
man.
my
That's
lyrics.
like some
That's-
things will never fucking change.
Yeah.
Something I even try to do is like, you'll have an end goal of where you kind of want to be. Don't let your fucking plan at the moment like hold you back from what opportunity can create naturally. Like a lot of people, they'll go, okay, I want to be by this at the end of the year, and this is my plan to get there. I've got this release as the EP. Like I've heard people tell me the next 8 months structured to a fucking T. I'm like, man, if you follow that, you're just not going to be open to the opportunities that are going to naturally happen. So I think have like that end goal of where you're going to get to, but don't be afraid to fucking throw it out the window if something comes up. You're like, fuck, this feels right and this is dope, you know?
Yeah.
Because you'll just you go into this, you don't know who's going to be here that you're going to talk to that next week knows this and this and this, and you're like, fuck, this morning that was never in the fucking plan.
Yeah.
But it's going to help you get there.
Cool.
Here we go, my man. This one.
It's 2 a.m. and I can't sleep. There's no one else I want but you. It's late and I'm faded. I don't think I can take it. Pick up the phone so we can speak. I know you're thinking about me too. It's late and I'm faded. I wanna see you naked. They don't understand what we go through. It's only better to lay it all out. I was only ever made for you. When we last spoke, you were alright. I know this is stupid, you're doing fine. This ain't Steve. You can do better than that. I tell him, please. You ain't even better than that. Come on. Y'all statements is irrelevant. Your old news keep up. Call that shit. I can always get a little money, that's easy. Make a little money, they see me. But you were here first, that's facts. I know it might be hard, but believe me. Cross my heart, hope that I tell you the truth. You are my ride, or not just me and you. Baby, you've been on my mind, and I'm on my way if you let me stay. Cause it's 2 a.m. and I can't sleep. There's no one else I want but you. It's late and I'm faded. I don't think I can take it. Pick up the phone so we can speak. I know you're thinking about me too. It's late and I'm faded. I wanna see you naked, baby. You told me, can we take it slow? Music playing speak. I know you think it's late and I'm faded. I just wanna see you naked.
Nice, right?
First track.
Yeah, it's amazing for a first track. And
First try.
yeah, it's his first track. Do you remember my first tracks? I haven't showed anyone my first track. I promise you, one Squad Sunday I will when I work up the courage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're on a hard drive years ago.
It's so great, bro. Like
That's sick.
really good work, and it's really exciting. I know how scary it is to share stuff for the first time. Yeah, especially with a crew who you don't know.
Are you doing a clip or anything for it?
I've got a few ideas and stuff, but I need to link up with
The right people.
There's this dude called HAFIY. He's the man. Look, guys, I'm going to sum it up now. Thanks for sharing, man. I encourage all of you, if you want to share something, doesn't matter if it's a beat, if it's a snippet, if it's a cover, just hit me up and tell me, like, I'd like to share it. I know it takes a lot of courage to do, but it's really great just to put your music out there and get some love and opinions. And half the people here might love it, half might hate it. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about doing music that you think's that's dope, and there's going to be other people who think it's dope. Lionel, thanks for coming in and talking, bro. And that's it for Squad Sundays. It's going to be obviously on video, and it's going to be mic'd, because that's why we have all this shit and we have HAFIY in. So hopefully none of you guys have any issues with that. If you do, too late. So thanks again. We'll see you at the next one. Feel free to stick around and drink what's left of the wine, have some pizza, take some Easter eggs, and have a chat, guys. That's what we're here for. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.